Hello, today is July 3rd, 2014, and yes, I know I haven't been up for a while. There are a lot of reasons for that. I'm actually breaking back in at this point because some things have occurred that I thought I really should cover. No philosophizing, actually, but kind of an estimate of what's going on and maybe a little warning. I'm sorry about the background noise here. I've actually been in a place where I didn't have internet access, and I've had to drive some way to get that because of the importance of this. So bear with me here a little bit. We all know about the border situation, at least we should. The mainstream media, of course, is not really talking about it the way they should. I did the documentary Borders, Mexican Drug War or Insurgency. Back in 2011, I saw all this coming, and I mentioned some of that in that video, some of what I'm going to discuss here. I'm going to try to make this quick because I want to be able to upload this so that everybody can get it as quickly as possible. Look, we all know about NAFTA, right? That whole situation with the North American Free Trade Agreement, Fair Trade Agreement. And hopefully a lot of us understand that there's been this effort to turn the United States into what, along with Mexico and Canada, is called the North American Union. And this is the point I want to bring up. Okay, there are a lot of things happening right now around the world that I could talk about, even in our country, like I've done before, but this is critical. The Zetas are primarily people that are taken out of the Mexican military. So they're militarily trained, and then they're used to protect drug cartels. You know, that's what you put up with when you come to the city. Anyway, so you have them. Now, this whole drug war thing is a game. It's really nothing more than an excuse to conduct things that attack individual freedom and individual liberty. Civil forfeiture laws, RICO, all of these things, taking away people's property without due process, merely on suspicion. You know, you're driving down the road and you worked someplace and you got $5,000 pay for some reason in cash. Not illegal, you know, you might be a salesperson or whatever, and you get stopped by the cops and they take your money because, you know, you can't adequately explain to them where you got it. Well, anyway, the point is that all of this is used to attack your freedoms. Now, the drug war in particular is funny because really what it's about is the government finding its competition, because the government's the one that's the big drug dealer. I think, you know, there's been plenty of testimony about that, particularly with the CIA, but other agencies have done it as well. The point is that the government wants to take out its competition at every level. They don't want you to have guns because that's a competition. They don't want you to have access to the land because that's a competition. The whole thing with Bundy Ranch, the BLM, all that, on and on and on. Well, this entire thing with the border, with the people from South America and Central America coming into the United States, you know, I think all of us want everyone to have a better life. That's not the issue. The issue is that there's no control at the border. And I proved that back with my Borders documentary back in 2011. You can go back and look at it if you like. Okay, this is not new. There were big holes in the fence back then. I went back and forth, you know, several times without anybody checking me. The bottom line is this. I think I've done an entire matrix study on this now. Not complete, because there's some information I'm going to give you that I haven't confirmed yet, even though I'm back in town, that I'm going to talk about. But this entire migration, this entire invasion from the South isn't benign. Okay, there are people that are looking for work, looking to unite with families, whatever. You know, get free Obamacare on your dime, all of that. Okay, yes, I know that. But in this thing also is something else happening, and this is what I want to point out. About 3 days ago, General Petraeus came out. You remember General Petraeus? He was the 4-star general in Iraq and then in Afghanistan. Some really weird stuff happened there, which I don't have time to talk about right now. And then he became the director of the CIA. And then, of course, he was found in this so-called, you know, compromising situation and left the CIA. Well, anyway, the point is he came out 3 days ago and he said, look, the United States is done. I'm paraphrasing, but this is really what he's saying. The United States is done. Okay, you've got to accept the fact that it's gone. And you're going to have to accept the new political division called North America. In other words, folks, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is dead. If it's not completely dead, it will be shortly with this thing that's going on. How's it going to happen? Well, they've been building all these FEMA camps everywhere, and of course a lot of us have been worried about that it's for dissidents, like, you know, political dissidents who don't agree with the administration. And of course that's what they'll be used for. But there's another factor here, and we're seeing it happen now with the people coming across the border. Zetas and other asymmetrical warfare groups are coming across the border now. I'm convinced of it, okay? For a couple of reasons. First, this is how the CIA does business, okay? Second of all, Petraeus said, you've got to get used to the fact that we're not going to be the United States anymore, that we're going to be North America, minus the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. He didn't say that, but that's what's going to happen, okay? Third, and this is very important, Cryptome. Remember, Greenwald came out a little while ago and said Snowden had some big revelations on who the NSA is watching. I'm not sure he actually put it that way, but Cryptome did. Let me stop here while this truck goes by. So, Cryptome came out and said they're going to print this stuff because they're trying to avert a war in July. And you know, people are saying, well, what war? You know, okay, you've got the thing in Syria, you got the thing in Ukraine, etc., etc. But you know, it has something to do with the names that the NSA is watching. The people that they're watching. War. People they're watching. Well, who in this country are they watching? Obviously people who don't agree with the government. They talk about Constitution, Christians, libertarians, gun owners, etc., etc., vets especially. Looking at my decision matrix, I have to come up with the idea at this point that this war that Cryptome is aware of is somehow directed at political dissidents in the United States. Christians, libertarians, vets, etc. This thing along the border is half a diversion off of this issue as they gear up to do this. But more importantly, to allow these Zetas, who are militarily trained, and have caused an insurgency in Mexico. They've taken over the government. I mean, you know, we had the helicopter shooting at Border Patrol, Mexican helicopter shooting at Border Patrol agents here just a week ago? No, that's not an accident. They were probably covering for some other of their, you know, CIA-covered drug running. And the Border Patrol, you know, they had to keep their heads down so that they didn't watch what was going on, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios. The fact of the matter is this. Again, the Zetas are militarily trained. There are asymmetrical warfare groups that are coming across the border. I'm convinced of it. So, what will they be used for? I understand, and this is the part I haven't been able to confirm yet. I was told by a very reliable source that the Border Patrol, and they've done this before, has stood down on the border in Texas. Now, okay, they have been told to stand down before under various circumstances, but not in a situation like this where we have now let me wait till this truck passes. We have such a dire circumstance on the border, okay? So Texas Department of Public Safety has sent the Rangers, who have Border Patrol security responsibilities, they've sent more of them down there, and state troopers to take over where the Border Patrol has stood down and left. No doubt they'll be checking, the Border Patrol will still be checking you 100 to 200 miles inland. You know, that's how Washington works, because they're after us. So I've painted a big picture here, and I've tried to do it quickly, but I think you see where I'm going with this. At least I hope you do. I think that they are allowing asymmetrical warfare groups, Zetas, etc., to come in during this humanitarian immigration deal, so that they can get in mass to pre-positioned supplies and equipment. I think we're going to see something really big happen here pretty soon. I know a lot of patriots and militia, etc., are down on the border. I'm not sure that's the place to be right now, because although it's probably a good thing you're not at your home, because if this thing is going to kick off anytime soon, they're going to come looking for you there first. But at the same time, being along the border, you can't protect your particular family, social interests, the people that matter to you. Now, I know it sounds counter to what I usually say, that you have to step out and not worry about personal things, but this is a little different situation. We're talking about a diversion, but at the same time something where they're sending these people across. There's no way you can secure the border, folks. You can't do it. You know, you just can't. If let's say that you find some illegals coming across, what are you going to do? Turn them back? They'll just come right back. You're going to hand them over to Border Patrol or to a law enforcement agency to jail them? They can't even hold them. They're releasing them. You can't shoot them. You know, I mean, that's not right either. So you really can't obtain an objective here, okay? Yeah, symbolic, yes, I understand that. But if what's happening here is what I think is happening, then they may very well be ready to start conducting real terror. And terror is a bad word. That's not what this is. This is an insurgency, okay? You know, they want to label everything terror, but it isn't, okay? Terror was something, we've talked about that before, and I know I'm being a little frustrated here. This isn't a terror operation. This is a military, asymmetrical guerrilla warfare that's getting ready to start here by these people they're bringing across. DHS will not allow you to protect yourselves. For protection, you'll be told, like in the Boston bombing, you know, go in and secure yourself in your home, secure yourself in your neighborhood, you know, cower in a place. That way they can control you. So what I'm saying is this, and I've sent some information out to a number of people today, and I hope to get this up. This is already way too long. With what Cryptome said, I'm recapping this. With what Petraeus said about this becoming North America, a political subdivision called North America, with the situation with the border being opened up, with the situation that Cryptome said that they needed to release this information about the NSA snooping about particular individuals' actual names to prevent a war, it's got to be, in my estimation, a war on the political, the liberty, Christian, gun supporter, veteran, etc., etc. I think it's come down to that, and they probably definitely have hit lists already in their possession that they go after first. That's how it works in these communist takeovers, and that's how it'll happen here. All right, well, this has already been too long. I'm going to do a little more analysis. I wanted to get this up tonight. I hope it'll be up tonight. Tonight's the 3rd of July. I'll try to expand on it a little bit later. I'm not really up to being on YouTube much anymore. I've said that before, but really I've really said everything, and I know I've said that before too. It's all there. You just have to do what you need to do at this point, and sticking your head in the sand isn't the way to do it. Okay? All right, I'm going to be out here for now. I'll try to update